So on to the next slide. We've provided a template, and this template contains a suggested structure for updates. Then we've provided an example which uses the notaries sector to illustrate the types of information you may wish to include in these sections. And all of this is simply suggestions. You should still use your own judgment about what's relevant and discuss your entries with the Ministry of Security if you have any questions about what should be included, what is relevant, what is not relevant, how much detail. This exercise is just about getting hold of the information which we already have. So if you have any questions, please do direct those to MOS. I'll just briefly, Nermin, that's what's on the slides. I'm going to switch over to the document now. Oh, hang on, I might have to just kill this presentation. Yeah, if I do this, the other, yeah, I think this is recording my whole screen. So, maybe you want some screenshots from this. So the first page of this is just the same as the presentation. So the template for your use, I'll just zoom in on this. And so this is the template, and there are 3 sections: clarifications, documenting progress, and future actions. And then you'll put in some conclusions. So these are as follows. First one is clarifications to the MER. Don't use this section if you don't need it. This is only if there are significant corrections to the findings of the MER which are relevant to your sector or agency, and if those can be clarified with some simple facts. So if you have those, present those facts here. Just list them really clearly here. We don't want these, as I mentioned before, we don't want these to come across as defensive, so trying to continue an argument from the assessment. So keep the language very simple because we can change it later. So avoid persuasive or overly descriptive language. We want just really clear facts about, let's say, the context of the sector or which part of the sector is supervised by this agency or the agency's role or something like that. Something really factual where we can clearly we can evidence it with documents. That's what we want to include here. If you don't, if that is not relevant to your sector, don't use this section. Next section, documenting progress since the MER. So any new regulations, bylaws, institutional arrangements, things that have been enacted, tell us what the status is of that development and if there are further actions to be taken. So make it clear where the action that has happened sits in the context of the other actions that need to be taken. Okay. And list guidance, list circulars. We've got to give some examples here for a regulated sector. If you were describing the level of risk and compliance, you may want to use diverse sources for that. So trade communications from trade associations, etc. Reference all the relevant documents that you have and send copies of these documents to MOS. We want to make it as easy as possible to reference this information so the reader can find that key information and verify statements. Any actions that relate to education or procedural changes, data gathering, institutional changes, which are easy to do, should be achieved by January, February. That's because there's a cutoff date in early 2026 where anything can be included in the POPR. So it's important, if you have an action which is going to be concluded around that time, be really clear about whether it is going to be completed before then or not, with the information you have. And then there's a section here on future actions. So we don't need loads of detail on future actions, but where it's relevant to the action plan items, put the future actions here. This helps to demonstrate that there's a clear policy plan, that the agencies understand the overall change to the policy that is being achieved, and that we have achieved some actions on